Hey guys, RPGcaster here again. The VGcasters, of course, bringing you another match. I'm here with Psychologist.
What up, guys?
We decided that me commentating on by myself is kind of lonely.
Well, yeah, you just sounded so lonely just by yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. Anyway, looking at this game, it is a Bermuda mirror match, as I promised on the vlog last week.
Very nice.
And it will be the Pacifica deck versus the Riviera deck. Two of the, I guess, how expensive you can call Bermuda, decks out there. The ones making use of the double R's and triple R's.
Wow.
So the Pacifica, being a soul charging unit, it allows you to draw one and then send a card to the bottom, so you can send back triggers and use other abilities to shuffle your deck.
Course.
And then me using the Revere line, which is all about gaining that hand advantage through the ride chain. It does have some holes, but I'll talk more about that as the game progresses. So let's get started. I open up with the grade 1. When the 1 rides on the 0, I can search the top 7 cards, not 5. And if the grade 2 or 3 is in my hand, I can add that to hand. Unfortunately, I miss it, yeah.
Yeah, you missed that one. Makes a very bad opening deck.
Yes, very bad opening game. So he attacks with the set honor, doesn't get a trigger, puts me at the damage, and gets rid of rear. I draw, and I miss my ride, unfortunately. I attack again. Luckily, I'm in 8k and get the heal trigger, resetting the game. Unfortunately for me, though, but fortunately for I, he gets that draw trigger, so it still puts him a little bit ahead. Right now, I is going to play probably one of the better opening plays for Bermudas. He plays the Perla and the Vanguard, where most people won't guard.
Oh, wait. There's another one!
Plays 2 Perlas, which stack, and plays the Rio, which he can also return to hand with the Perla. I don't want him to get 3 cards and 3 soul out of this play, so I make sure I guard that completely.
Guard with your life.
I ride the grade 2. Grade 2 on the 1, when all pieces are in soul so far, it gets me a card in hand. Interesting thing about the ride chain, though, is that the ride chain in itself is not very good. In my opinion, of course.
Of course.
The reason being is, while the ride chain gets you a lot of advantage, if you miss a ride, it makes a big difference. You're basically playing with really low level. Your 9Ks basically. This meta kind of holds you back, and you're not really getting much advantage out of your rides either.
Oh, there you go. He's red in Flores, and he's got a full field right now.
Flores is a bad ride, though he does get to use a Soul Blast. Another thing I like about Bermudas is, he's hesitating for the Soul Blast, is you can Soul Blast and return that starting Vanguard, whether it be Weddle or Shizuku, back to hand, and you have a free 10k guard.
Wow.
So we saw him trigger that Pacifica. Luckily, we'll get to see the Pacifica in play as well. I ride the Revere and draw, because all pieces are in Soul. And then try and play out as much of a field as I can at this stage of the game. I go for the Pearl Sister combo, much like he did. Unfortunately, I haven't got that amazing setup that he got off early game. So I get the draw trigger, and I get the stand.
Very unfortunate there.
A lot of people would argue that that was a bad choice on my part, considering I play a lot of stands in the deck, but I think I would have preferred to attack with that powered up Perla rather than risk me not getting the stand.
Of course.
He would have been able to guard just with a 10k, and that really wouldn't have done much for me.
Not only that, he could have blocked both of them at the same time.
And of course, what I was really hoping to pull off was a Persona Blast, which would have given me that 10k plus either way.
Yep.
So he rode the Pacifica, he soul charged, and he drew and returned a card back to deck. As I said at the vlog and at the start of this video, he can put triggers at the bottom and then shuffle with Shizuku.
Not only that, he can combo that with Weddle.
Yes, very well.
Very well, by just using the counter blast ability, sending it to soul, and if he doesn't get a grade 3, shuffle everything in the deck. So basically mixes up the deck again. Get rid of those bunched up triggers in the deck. Definitely.
So he's got his setup. He's doing very well for himself at the moment, and I am holding on as best I can from the late start, I guess. I was contemplating riding the Renner to get the Pearl Sister combo off again, but considering the Pearl Sisters aren't hitting very hard, I thought it would be better to kind of play it as a rear guard unit, which I do. I attack the rear guard as well, and I was really hoping for a stand trigger so that I could use the Persona Blast if I got it as well. At this stage in the game, being at such a disadvantage, with him having a full field, him having twice my hand almost, and having like a lot less damage, there wasn't really much I could do to come back.
Well, all you can hope now is for a couple heal triggers, just to keep in the game.
Yep. So I trigger a 10k interceptor and a perla. Yes. I'm contemplating again what I was going to do because I was hoping for the stand, but I do decide that an extra 5k guard would be useful for me since I could die next turn. So
Okay.
I guess I was hoping that he would let the perla hit, but then I end up going for the rear guard anyway to lessen the attacks. He's obviously got the upper hand here. Soul charges again, draws again, puts the card to the bottom. It's an endless cycle with Pacifica.
Endless cycle.
I actually think, although a lot of people have been saying stands are really good for Bermudas, my personal opinion is if I was to run a Pacifica, I'd be running a lot of draw triggers. There's the possibility of decking out.
Of course.
Yep, don't get me wrong. But, of course, there's also the fact that Pacifica can get rid of the dead draw triggers and give you more useful stuff. If you have a big hand power, it allows you to rush. And with those drive quartet triggers, the ones that gain power when you have a few of them, that can also help early game rush. There's a lot of possibilities. So there I try and guard only one trigger because I didn't really have much in hand that I could guard with to make a difference.
And he's going to smack
he
again.
Smacks again. But I don't want to let that through at all.
No, not at this stage. Not when you're on 5.
No, not at all. So, if you can see there to the right, I have 2 Reveres in hand. And I put the Rio there, hoping that I'd be able to use the Revere and then get the Pearl Sisters off. A long shot, but really, at this stage in my game, a long shot is all I can really hope for.
You need to pull off all stops if you can.
Yeah.
There's one, and there's another one.
Another one. I have a null, but it doesn't help. He gets the trigger, which helps him out immensely. He adds it to the Vanguard, and unfortunately for me, I thought it's all or nothing at this point. I couldn't really do much with that Revere in hand, having only 1 null, since I had 2 of them, so
you
might
need to
as well.
push with the Persona Blast.
Yep, of course he's going to have enough to guard. He is a smart enough player to know that it is dumb to just let it through, so he's going to guard that.
Oh, with a null guard. There you go.
Yeah. So I think we're approaching final turn here. You look at my hand, I can actually see it. I only have 2 5Ks in my hand and a null and a grade 3. Clearly not even enough, even if I got the heal trigger, so I'm pretty much dead. So while I die, let's talk about the Bermuda decks further. The Rena I play mainly for the really good bounce. There, the game's ended. And the Rena, I guess, if you have the Pearl Sisters and you have the rear, allows me to, play like the bounce cards, get the hand advantage up. Right there, that right there is me showing Aya pretty much what was in the opening hand. Although I think I did it wrong. I think I actually had a 1 Rena instead of one of the Reveres.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty bad hand start, but I'm pretty happy with the way I caught up, I guess.
Yeah.
Though, admittedly, in a game like that, there's not much you can do. As Silent Thomas said in the past, there are just some games where the luck is overwhelming on one side or the other. Not at all disregarding Aya because he played really well and he does deserve that win. But it would have been nice to see a more balanced match.
Of course. Well, I mean, yeah. Sometimes luck does overpower sometimes, but other matches you get that close match where it goes right down to even the tiniest 1000 power.
As always, talking about the key cards of that match, we had Top Idol Floras, which has been around since set 2. Set 2, that's right. It's actually a normal rare in Bermuda, which is interesting, yeah.
But in set 2, it's a double R and also an SP.
SP, yes.
Yep.
I have an SP, I'm happy about that. Basically, Floors is exceptionally good. Unlike the Perla, you can actually hit a rear guard as well to do the Soul Blast and bounce, which I think is key for the bounce decks like Pacifica.
Not only that, it combos with other cards that rely on the bounce mechanic, like Girls Rock Rio and all those other cards. Of course, the Pearl Sisters. And Pearl Sisters as well.
Yep. Which segues nicely into the Pearl Sisters, of course. We'll talk about Pearl Sisters now.
Oh, yeah.
Perla, the grade 2, is when it hits the Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, to bounce back a card, a Bermuda card. And the Perdu, which is the grade 1, basically combos with the grade 2. Its ability is when it comes down, you give an ability to Perla, and that ability is when Perla hits the Vanguard, you can soul charge one and draw one.
And not only that, as you saw in the video, you can stack these onto one
Unit, definitely.
one unit, so it gives it a separate instance of that ability to that one Perla.
Yeah, so basically, had that Perla actually hit, if you can recall what it was like in the match,
Yep.
it would have been Soul Charge draw, Soul Blast, bounce Rio,
Yep.
Soul Charge draw. So I wasn't gonna let him get the 3 cards.
Oh god, no.
So these 2 cards are extremely good, and obviously the obvious combo would be either bouncing back something like Rio or bouncing back the Perla. Finally, going back to the ride chain, which I said I'd talk more about. The ride chain Riviere is very good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as broken as everybody was making it out to be pre-release. It does give you immense card advantage if you get the chain off, but the keywords are if you get the chain off.
Oh yes, not only that, you have to hit with Riviere. It's not like Soul Saver Dragon where you can have to Soul Blast and get that effect immediately. You have to hit.
With the Riviere's Persona Blast, which gives 5k to 3 Bermuda units, you do have to hit the Vanguard. And at first I was thinking, oh, crits would go well with this deck, right? Because you give 5k to the other units, they won't be able to guard the crit. But they're going to have to take the attack with their Vanguard anyway. You're better off running draws and stands. And that's another point deck building. People will disagree with me, and you'll feel free to, please. But I think crits aren't as effective in this deck simply for that reason. The Riviere's Persona Blast is threatening enough on its own, and you really want to add power to your rear guards and have that Perla swing and have that Perla stand again and attack and get its ability off again and again and again as much as possible.
And get that extra attack with more support with stands. Stand an extra unit behind it, or stand 2 units behind it, what have you.
It's an extremely good idea, probably, to try running stands and draws, I think.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks for joining us for this very short and, for me anyway, embarrassing match. Hopefully I will be able to do better in future matches. I hope you guys haven't lost faith in my ability. I don't know, it doesn't feel at home without Tsukiyomi.
Oh, that's Tsukiyomi.
Anyway, guys, next week hopefully we'll have either another match or a deck check or something next week. Can't really promise anything at this point because I am strapped for time, but we'll try and get as much out. We want to keep that weekly videos going. But one thing you should note is that at the time of recording this video, which is the 21st of March, we are at 981 subscribers. Ooh. So expect a nice little giveaway surprise thing when we hit 1,000. So on that note, I think that's a good way to wrap up the video. These are the VGcasters signing off.